To the Tuesday, January 3rd meeting of the Garden Grove City Council. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Brightigam.
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember Dovin.
Present.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Here.
Councilmember Kim Wen Pinalosa.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran.
Here.
And Mayor Jones.
Here. All right. May I ask our interim assistant city manager, Matt West, to do the invocation, followed by Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Tran to do the pledge.
Yes, please join me. Prepare yourself according to your faith. Dear Lord, we ask for your blessing over tonight's proceedings. And we thank you, Lord, for all our civil servants. Thank you for their hard work and sacrifice. May you continually bless them. May you generously give to each of them wise and discerning hearts to skillfully govern the people in our city. Give the city council, city leaders, and staff wisdom so that they may solve problems, distinguish between right and wrong, and continue to provide stability and prosperity to the community of Garden Grove. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, put your hand over your heart, face the flag, and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, we do have Housing Authority tonight, so let's briefly recess and convene over to Housing Authority. So I'll hand it over to Chair Brightigam.
Can we call roll?
Commissioner Dovin.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Klopfenstein.
Here.
Commissioner Tanwin.
Here.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Here.
Commissioner Tran.
Here.
Vice Chair Nguyen Pinalosa.
Here.
And Chair Brightigam.
Here.
And Commissioner Beckles is absent this evening.
Okay, move on to oral communications. Is there anybody who would like to address the Housing Authority and not the City Council? Okay, seeing none, we'll close oral communications and go to number 2, the reorganization.
I would, oh, go ahead.
I was going to make a motion for Vice Chair Kim Wen to take over the chairmanship of the board. I'll second it. Thank you.
You want to be vice chair?
You know what, I'll be vice chair if Kim wants to be chair, I don't care.
I'll
I'm-
nominate.
I mean, I'm easy, I mean,
I'll nominate Member Brightigam for the vice chair.
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to take an oral vote on this. Okay. Commissioner Dovin.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Commissioner Tanwin. Commissioner O'Neill.
Yes.
Commissioner Tran.
Yes.
Commissioner Wen Pinalosa.
Yes.
And Commissioner Brightigam.
yes.
Motion received, 8 yes votes for the reorganization of the Housing Authority.
Okay, well, do you want to take over?
Sure.
All right.
Moving on to consent, it's recommended that we take items 3A through 3F at the same. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second, for motion and second, please call roll.
Okay. Chair Wen Pinalosa,
Yes.
Vice Chair Brightigam,
Yes.
Commissioner Tran,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Tanwin,
Yep.
Commissioner Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
and Commissioner Dovin.
Aye.
Motion received, 8 yes votes.
Moving on, are there any matters from commissioners? Seeing none, I'll adjourn the meeting to the next meeting on February 27th at 6:30 and return the meeting back to council.
Alrighty, thank you. We will reconvene City Council, and that takes us on to presentations. We do have several items listed tonight, starting with a community spotlight in recognition of Goodwill Ambassadors representing Anyang, Republic of Korea, as part of the 35th Annual Garden Grove Sister City Exchange Program.
I think that's me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Yes, tonight the Garden Grove City Council is pleased to recognize 10 high school students and 2 chaperones representing Anyang, Republic of Korea, as part of the 35th Annual Sister City Exchange Program. Would the students and chaperones please join us here up by the podium?
Please come on up forward to the front row. Yeah. Yeah, right.
For several years, the Sister City Association of Garden Grove has deepened the city's appreciation of and ties with the Republic of Korea. Through the Sister City Exchange Program, Anyang's youth have a unique opportunity to learn about American culture firsthand. They see Southern California's beautiful sights, but more importantly, experience its warm hospitality. The students, along with the chaperones, are serving as Anyang's Goodwill ambassadors during their 10-day stay. During their visit, they will be staying with local host families who have graciously opened their home and hearts to host the students and chaperones. At this time, the mayor and the city council would like to present each of the students with a City of Garden Grove drawstring bag filled with city souvenirs as a memento of their visit. Our city warmly welcomes you to Garden Grove, and we hope your trip will be memorable.
All right. Okay, couple shots right here, please. 1, 2, 3. Over here.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Over here.
Hey, it's video. All right.
Oh, one more.
Oh, show.
Thank you. We've got some presents for councilmen. So some students will give you one by one. So yes, thank you so much.
One right here.
Honorary citizens and honorary Joneses. Oh, here. Yeah, the mayor.
George, you want to take a picture? Oh, George.
Oh, okay. Well, I already got that. Yeah, so I'm done, right? Thank you, though. Oh.
Oops, sorry.
Ooh. Bye, guys. I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll get back on track. That takes us to item 1B, which is an update from ACCOC, I believe from Chris Marie. Yeah.
Grab the clicker. Good evening, everybody. Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for your time today and the opportunity to present an update on everything we're doing at ACCOC. We certainly thank you for your leadership and commitment and support of our organization. I just want to share for you and the staff and also community members that the work of ACCOC is really focused in three primary areas, and that is education, advocacy, and policy development that serves the cities of Orange County. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our sole focus is to support our cities and make sure that Orange County has a unified, collaborative, and collegial voice in policy making at all levels of government, the regional, the state, and the federal. Our organization is made up now of 24 cities. Seal Beach just returned, and we're in active discussions with 5 others. Our goal over the next year is to really get back to full strength of all 34 cities, as well as to have the county back in our portfolio of representation. We also have 41 affiliate members. These make up public agencies countywide, as well as our top employers, nonprofit and community-based organizations, universities, healthcare organizations, et cetera, working together to make sure, again, that we have that common voice representing our unique nature of our county. Our current board of directors, which includes Councilwoman Klopfenstein as our board president, are just so dedicated to the work of our organization. These folks really roll up their sleeves and are volunteering their time to make sure that we have that successful work at all levels of government. And again, from advocacy, which I'll talk about our success rate with that, working with our legislators and our delegation, but also in the development of educational programming so that our cities, our staff, and our elected officials, as well as all of the folks I mentioned in the affiliate capacity, are working together to really learn about those issues firsthand that affect governance of our cities, and then communications, and really getting out the word and celebrating and promoting the best practices of our cities. We have 5 primary committees: legislative and regulatory, energy, environment and water, housing and homelessness, economic development and tourism, as well as transportation and infrastructure. All of you are welcome to participate. These are mostly online, except we're doing a lot more, which I'll talk about momentarily, in the sort of going from online to being in person and being boots on the ground, seeing our programs, seeing our major, visiting our utility programs, visiting our universities, meeting with Cal Optima, and the street medicine program that they launched here in Garden Grove was a very successful tour we recently held. And so within each of these policy areas, we also do a lot of in-person programming. So communicating best practices, as I shared, is absolutely critical. Orange County and resonating our voice in those critical areas of governance is so important. We're sandwiched between two behemoth counties, San Diego and LA, but as our own county, as you well know, we're the fifth, sixth, depending on the day of the time of the year, largest in the country by density and population. So if we were in any other geographical spot in the world, we would have our own media market, we would have all those things that helps us really promote the incredible work that is happening here and the service to our communities. So it's so important that we're able to communicate through we've activated all of our social media channels. I hope you're following those and getting those updates. We've also revamped our website and created a member portal that is a one-stop shop for you to get, whether it's contacting information, getting policy briefs, finding out what the latest and greatest is happening in Sacramento and DC. If you go online to the member portal and the password is OC, capital OC, and then cities all lowercase, you can activate that information, and we're constantly updating that. We also have our new open session blog, which is updated almost daily and definitely weekly, with, again, pushing out that information, what is happening in our communities, and then our weekly Policy Pulse online newsletter. We try not to inundate your email boxes, so that is once a week on Fridays, so that you get those snapshots of what's happening week to week within Orange County. And really excited to share the relaunch of our podcast, City Square. We brought that back this year. It's been on hiatus since, I think, 2017, 2018, but our board wanted to reinvest and bring that program back. It had tremendous following, and our first one will be January 31st, so I included a little snapshot for you on that with our amazing host, our Honorable Stephanie Klopfenstein. And this first one is with Sue Parks and the United Way. They're celebrating their 100th anniversary of work and service to our communities, as well as many of you may not know, but United Way has now taken over for the county and is running our 211 service. And it really was so informative, the vast array of services. 211 is just not for those in some kind of transition or emergency position, but all of our community members can take advantage of the services through 211. So we really go into some depth of what 211 offers our communities. And then our programming. Again, we've more than doubled in the last year in-person programming, and the response from our officials has been so tremendous. We really see the value of doing a gathering in person, meeting face to face, and really learning firsthand about the types of programs we offer. Our public policy Makers Academy, our leadership conference, our policy dinners, and I brought a flyer for each of you, for you and your staff. If you have time, on January 31st, our first policy dinner of the year is Monday of the 31st at the Pacific Club from 5:30 to 8:30, and it's governing in the era of artificial intelligence. And we're really AI is here, and it's here in a very robust way, and it's only gonna ramp up further. We have global and industry experts on this panel who are going to talk about how cities around the world and around the nation are gearing up to not just deal with some of the challenges that AI presents, but also to capture the benefits of AI in service delivery to their communities. So really hope if you have that time that you can join us. Again, as our guest, this will be open to our members as guests. And then again, our infrastructure tour is, in fact, tomorrow morning. We are taking officials. We have 38 signed up to go have a tour by Southern California Edison for the decommissioning of the songs at San Onofre. And again, we're just going to be boots on the ground and hear firsthand about what's happening with the decommissioning of that site, and also what will be happening with the disposal of that nuclear waste, which is a major, major issue nationally for our communities. Again, just a snapshot on our advocacy. We're about 50% success rate in either defeating or getting legislation through. We team up with all of our partners across the state on some of the critical issues that are facing our communities. I really want to highlight that ACCOC has played a leadership role in the Sober Living and Recovery Home Task Force that has now expanded statewide, which was started here in Orange County. And then we're very involved in, we were the only nonprofit association along with the California Chiefs of Police and Sheriff's Association who helped fund the amicus brief on the Johnson v. Grants Pass, which is attempting to overturn or create basically the parameters to be able to enforce local ordinances as it pertains to loitering and camping. It created a lot of confusion in the courts from an appeal court decision, and now the Supreme Court has agreed to hear that appeal. So we work very hard in advocacy and serving our communities. I want to share that our year-end report had some great metrics. We had, again, doubled our in-person programming. We totally revamped communications and made it multifaceted so that whatever is the easiest way for our cities, our staff, and our community members to achieve and access the information, it is available and it's accessible. We expanded city membership by 13% last year, and we're already off to a running start with Seal Beach coming back this year. Our affiliate membership grew by 46% last year. And while we've grown the organization, grown services, grown our communications, while maintaining our 10% discount for our city memberships that was implemented during the downturn of the pandemic. But we've also put in a cap for our city, so it will never exceed based on population growth. So we're maintaining that discount because we want to be fiscally conservative with our city dues. We have some great upcoming events. I hope you'll go to our website and check those out if you're available. Again, on the 31st to join us as a guest. That program is going to be very, very interesting and informative. We will also be videotaping it and again pushing it out through our communications channels if you're not able to be there, because we want you to have the information whether you can be there in person or not. And we've got our Sacramento trip coming up. If you have that time, I know taking the couple days away with work and family and council is challenging, but the in-person meetings that we hold in Sacramento with the administration, with our delegation, with leadership, and with the other agencies really is valuable. We've had some great outcomes of those meetings, and we do pack them in, so we try to really get as much on out of your time as possible, but that's April 8th and 9th, and then DC we're going to hold in September. So again, please just engage. Let us know if you have any questions. Check out that website. We're super proud of rebuilding that. We want to continue to organically grow it and make it as valuable to all of you as possible. And I'll just close tonight by, again, thanking you for your leadership as such an incredible city partner. Your involvement and support of ACCOC serves everybody in Orange County, but we also want to make sure that that ROI for you and your residents is there every year. So I appreciate your time and attention tonight, and God bless you all, and thank you for everything you do.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. Are we on track with the budgeting, and do we need a renewal at any point?
The invoices went out in December to all of our cities that maintain that 10% reduction. Our budget is actually on track, and we've been growing revenues in order to reduce the burden on cities. So it's all in good shape.
So there's no threat of our services being cut down or reduced or anything like that? We're
No,
still
through
growing.
ACCOC. I don't know if you're referring to the state's budget challenges, which is a whole different bag of
your own.
tricks. Yeah,
Just your own
ACCOC.
project.
We're in great shape, and we're going to continue to grow services and resources.
Congratulations, and
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
service.
I appreciate that, Councilman.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much to our Executive Director, Chris Murray, for coming in. It's been such an honor to serve as president, and I'm very excited to have my term extended through the end of 2024.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate, really, when you see the scope of work and all that's been done in such a short, relatively period of time, it's quite amazing. And a lot of that is because of the woman standing in front of you. It's a small but mighty team, and she has done an incredible job to bring ACCOC to the level that it's at today. So I just want to thank you for your presentation and for being able to show just the incredible amount of work that's been done in this past year. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I hope with your indulgence, I can come every year and just give you that update. It's a real pleasure to be here in person and to also be able to present to your community and staff as well. But I hope to see you all on Monday if you're able. or at any of our programs at any time. So thank you so much. I'm going to return this down. Have a great evening.
Thanks. All right, item 1C, which is a report from Groundswell, formerly known as the OC Human Relations Commission, as presented by Christian Lopez. Please come on forward.
Hello. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christian Lopez. I'm a board member of Groundswell, formerly known as OC Human Relations. We are Groundswell. When we come together under this banner of humanity, empathy, care, and love, we create a groundswell, a wave of belonging that carries us forward together. I'm here to share about the success of our nonprofit that we provided and the work we provided in the city of the Garden Grove over the last year. In the past year, by working with schools to center relationships and co-create belonging communities, we've expanded to 11 sites for our restorative schools program and provided 67 trainings and workshops to teachers, administrators, and students. We resolved 92% of conflict resolution cases through our restorative schools program. We helped communities find a better way to resolve conflict by engaging over 170 trained mediators to provide mediation services for Orange County residents. We partnered with the County of Orange to set up a 24-hour hotline to report hate activity, and we partnered with 211 Orange County to expand channels of reporting hate activity and triage victim services. We also hosted 14 dialogues in communities across Orange County with stakeholders to address hate, including Hate Happens Here, OC's Call to Action, Town Hall, and National Day of Racial Healing Dialogue series. We are proud of our work to address conflicts and prevent hate in our communities, and we are ready to support any cities that may have a need to utilize our human relations expertise. We hope that the City of Garden Grove will not hesitate to reach out during times when our expertise can help support your city. We are pleased to share how we work with residents in Garden Grove during our last fiscal year. We mediated 9 community intake cases where one of the parties was a resident of Garden Grove. In collaboration with the County of Orange, local law enforcement agencies, schools, community organizations, and residents, we documented hate crimes and hate incidences. In Garden Grove, 6 hate crimes and 54 hate incidents were documented. Over 25,000 youth participated in our Bridges Safe and Respectful Schools program. In our restorative schools program, we brought 10 cases through a restorative conflict resolution process and had over 7,904 programs touches in 2 Garden Grove high schools, and 3 youth attended our Youth Leadership Institute. 2 youth participated in our Human Relations Ambassadors program. We worked to build a sense of community among Garden Grove residents and staff through our continual county-wide hate crime education, victim outreach, and support. In conclusion, Groundswell has appreciated your city's membership in the City Dues program, granting us to support schools and cities in building safe, respectful communities, address community conflicts and strife, sustain a human relations infrastructure to serve cities when crisis situations occur. Together, we are contributing to a safe and respectful county while building important relationships that can be called upon in times of tension and turmoil, should they come. I would like to thank the City of Garden Grove for your membership, and I would like to present Mayor Jones with the certificate of our appreciation.
All right, that takes us on to oral communications, and I do have a number of cards, starting with Nicholas Dibbs.
Mayor Jones, members of the council, I'm Nicholas Dibbs, teacher educator. I spoke to this council back on May 14th and again on, November 14th and November 28th. And to be honest with you, I read on that first meeting on the 14th, I read to you a letter from Albert Einstein, who wrote about the situation at that time when the conflict and the wars were going on, which have continued, unfortunately, to this day. And he penned a letter on April the 10th from Princeton University, April the 10th, 1948. When a real and final catastrophe should befall us in Palestine, the first responsible for it would be the British, and the second responsible for it, the terrorist organizations built up from among our own ranks. He was against the Zionist movement. Not all Jews are Zionists, and not all Zionists are Jews. The Zionist movement was created in the late 1800s to take the land of Palestine. And we've seen the children. I'm against the killing of anyone. I'm a member of Jewish Voice for Peace. And life is precious, whether it's a Palestinian or a Jew or an American or anybody else. So I'm here before you because the city of Long Beach, actually the city of Stanton the city of Stanton did a proclamation on December 12th. This council on the 28th of November did the proclamation on the Human Rights Day in Garden Grove, reaffirming the General Assembly's United Nations adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I'm here because I'm against war, I'm against murder. 70% or so of these 30,000 or more victims in Gaza are children and women. And it's wrong. And so the city of Long Beach, Stanton did their proclamation or resolution on the 12th of December, the city of Long Beach on the 19th of December. Other cities across this country where there is a place, because this is being funded by our tax dollars. And I join with my Jewish brothers and sisters who are peacemakers, as well as Christians and Muslims who are peacemakers, that this war needs to end. There needs to be a ceasefire. And this city, as an advocate for the UN Declaration of Human Rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, needs to come down and I'm asking all of you, the 7 of you, to support putting it on the agenda, and I'm giving you a copy from Long Beach and some other cities, and you can take a look at those. I'm asking somebody, one or more of you, to have the courage to put this as a discussion item for the next council meeting. We need to bring peace to the world, and complicity, silence is complicity. And there is a place for this city to stand up with the other cities and tell our president and members of Congress enough is enough, because this war could expand and come over here if we don't stop it. Thank you.
Win Hung.
I forget my name. maybe too old. I have a picture, before I speaking, Steve Jones and Joe Dovin, Dinah Nguyen.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago to come back here. Cindy, 2 years and now meet you. Oh, I forget, and Christopher too. Spotlight from Garden Grove. That before I speak, don't. How many minutes we have can talk?
Yeah.
3?
2 minutes and 15
Yeah,
seconds
okay,
now.
I can talk now all night long. Okay, I'm the person set down, the protest and on the main street. It's me. That's why I got this certificate, Stephen Jones, remember. And most people here knew. I know Joe Dovin a long time. But anyway, to Mayor Stephen Jones, Major Pro Tem Cindy Tran, and on a caution. You too many is caution, And Lisa Kim, City Manager, and also Omar Sandovan. Subject today, I installed a campaign site for Garden Grove City Office in November 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to greet everyone. My name is Nguyen Hung, a resident of the city, Westminster. After 12 years, I helped the city Garden Grove and the protest in the Vietnamese community on Main Street, the historic neighborhood street in 2012. I would like to thank and acknowledge the appreciation that the city Garden Grove award me with a Garden City badge, a certificate of recognition, and a Spotlight Crystal Ball souvenir. I am a Vietnamese journalist in Orange County Service, serving spiritual food for Vietnamese residents. But my heart may have a bias towards the city Garden Grove, even though I am a permanent resident at Westminster. I love Garden Grove. I miss it, but I can afford to buy a house. Ladies and gentlemen, we Vietnamese people had a proverb, there is no smoke without fire. So everything has a cost. The reason I am present here today is not to bring an unpleasant atmosphere to you, but I only have one question related to the election of a position of a mayor and council. I hope I will have an answer today in a constructive spirit for the poor and fair to the city of Garden Grove. Furthermore, I know that silent in the face of my evil is complicity in the crime, and there is a Western proverb also say, there is not a single raindrop that admit that is the cause of a flood. Today in San Diego have a big flood. Today I want to talk about election for the position of the mayor, council in Region 2, 5, 6 on November 5th, 2024 at the Garden Grove City. Do not waste your time, so let me go straight to the question. Because I have a little interest in the city of Garden Grove in recent time. So I don't know if my question is appropriate or not. However, please, especially the city director and attorney, please let me know.
Sir, please wrap it up. Please wrap it up, because we have a lot of cards.
We do have your.
You already
Yeah,
have.
we have the written.
So
thing.
we don't need to read, right?
Right.
Okay. So anyway, happy birthday to Joe Doving. And so a lot of people are outside, they can read. By the way, your email is returned. You may be checking. I don't know.
Will do.
I have two email from you, both the return. You don't like me. I guess. But anyway, so I would like to speak Vietnamese because a lot of audience told me if I can't speak Vietnamese, because they're watching on a video. Vietnamese, very same people. They don't want to appear in the public. You know? Not everybody like Joe Doving and me, you know.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Paul Simmons.
Good evening, Mayor. We were here to speak on item 4A as part of the public hearing. Is that appropriate to speak now, or should we wait till that time?
I think it'd be more appropriate to wait till the public hearing to hear
Okay.
from them.
Got it.
Great.
I'll
Thank
hold
you.
on to all your cards then on 4A. All right, Maureen Blackman.
Those are going to be hard acts to follow. Miss Murray's something else. You never know what you're going to get when you come up here. Good evening, Mary Jones, council and staff. For those of you who don't know, I'm Maureen Blackman, president of the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association. Tonight I'm here to invite the community to another one of our town halls we call Meet on Main. We've dubbed this one Meet on Main Valley View Edition with Top Brass Unplugged. We're thrilled to have City Manager Lisa Kim, Director of Community Development Nikki Wetzel, and Director of Economic Development Ursula Luna Reynosa. They'll introduce themselves and share their vision for our city. These three accomplished women are responsible for almost every facet of our lives in Garden Grove: business growth, housing, code enforcement, homelessness, and so much more. This new leadership is saddled up to take this town to the next level. So let's stop speculating and take this opportunity to hear the facts. The event is on January 30th from 5 till 7. And Whitney Chisholm, owner and operator of the new cool Paige James studio, has partnered with us to sip, shop, and learn in her shop. The new restaurant on Valley View, Paradise Pizza, is getting quite a buzz in the town, and they've stepped up to bring over some of their delicious pizzas. That with some other treats, and we're sure to have a good time. Let's learn together and meet the top brass. You can RSV to Maureen. So that's maureen.ggna@gmail, or check out our Facebook page at Garden Grove Neighborhood Association. And I want to thank Lisa and the team for stepping up. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all the oral communications cards that I have. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on an item not listed? Please come forward.
Council member, my name's Kurt. Thank you for your time. I want to again remind you I was here about a month ago, and I urged you to start becoming serious about our infrastructure, particularly the sewer pipes that are all over 60 years old and are failing. And I think that you guys of all the cities ought to know, because you've replaced about 1% of them, and you know that it's extremely expensive and it's nothing to fool around with. And we have about 300 miles more to go. And I suggest that we put it on a plan. Perhaps we could arrange for it to be identified at an 80-year interval, and find a way to put that on our budget, because it's a $2 billion problem, and we're all just kind of acting like no big deal, and it's a huge big deal. I don't think any of us wants to wait till it's sitting in our bathroom. Perhaps we can be a little more proactive. It's not going to go away. Problem's there. And the other issue I'd like to gently point out to you is about a month ago we agreed to accept a state grant for police services. And I understand it's free money. We took it. But we took it in the name of traffic safety. And our police departments can no longer, we reached the limit of 100 years ago of how they can affect traffic safety. More police is not going to help. We need to redesign our city. It's up to you guys. If you wanted to make the city safer, you can do speed humps. You can do traffic circles. But that takes courage. But that's what we know works. More law enforcement, we absolutely know, does not help with traffic safety. So if you want to be serious about it, I hope you can get serious. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we will close oral communications. And next, we'll recess to conduct successor agency. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Member Bradegum?
Here.
Member Tran?
Here.
Member Dovin?
Present.
Member Klopfenstein?
Here.
Member Wim Pinalosa?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Neill?
Here.
And Chair Jones.
Here. All right, we already did oral communications. Consent is just receive and file. Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Call the vote.
Motion receives, 7 yes votes.
Any matters? Seeing none, we'll adjourn to sanitary district next. Hand it over to President John O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd like to open up the Garden Grove Sanitary District Board of Directors meeting for Tuesday, January 23rd. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Member Bradegum?
Here.
Member Dovin? Present. Member Klopfenstein?
Here.
Member Win Pinalosa?
Here.
Member Jones?
Here.
Vice President Tran?
Here.
And President O'Neill.
Thank you very much. We've already held oral communications simultaneously with council. We do have a reorganization of this board tonight. Entertain selection of president and vice president. I'd be more than willing to keep serving if anybody wants to do that.
Keep it the same.
Second.
Okay, for both positions, we have a motion and a second. Let's call for the vote.
Okay. Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. We do have a couple of consent items. These will be acted on simultaneously. If I have a motion for consent, or if anybody
So
wants
moved.
to pull anything. I have a
Second.
motion and a second. Call for the vote. Thank you.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
And we do, I'm happy to announce, we have to have an item for consideration tonight, an award for a contract for our sewer system rehabilitation plan, Phase 1, and
Emily.
$2.7 million. So at this time, we'll have a presentation, I believe.
Item 4A is award a contract to Ramona Inc. for project CP 1329000 Sewer System Rehabilitation Plan Phase 1 Sewer Main Replacement Project Number 4. And Mr. Murray will be here shortly to give that presentation.
Okay, thank you. Cue the Jeopardy music. all
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, tonight the board is being asked to award a contract to Ramona Incorporated for the replacement of sewer mains in the city. I should note that this is in pursuant to our sewer master plan and our sewer capacity assurance plan, which we've been enacted for, I don't know, at least 20 years. A project location map is attached to your staff report. The locations are shown on a map, which is generally bounded to the south by Garden Grove Boulevard, west of Nutwood, north of Trask, and to east of Brooker Street. The work will include the replacement and upsizing of over 5,200 feet of 6 and 8 inch vitrified clay pipe. These will be upsized to 6, 8, and 10 inch VCP in certain areas where the capacity needs to be improved. The project will replace existing sewer lines which are found to be aged and showing signs of deterioration, and in general, it's undersized. This condition is generally defined as defective. So all of this work will be done at a cost of almost $2.7 million. Staff received and opened 10 bids on December 19th of last year and determined that Ramona Incorporated was the lowest responsible bidder. Should the board decide to award the contract tonight, the contractor can begin work in March and should be complete by Halloween. This project was included in this year's capital improvement plan and will be paid for with sewer enterprise funds. This concludes staff's report and I'm available should you have any questions.
Bill, any questions from members? Yes, Joe, go ahead.
If I may, Mayor and Council, I've been informed that the area of improvement that you've just mentioned is in my district, 4. So I'm very happy to convey that news to our residents and businesses that we are taking these matters very seriously. I myself keep in touch with the Director Bill, especially when we're going for permits and we have sewer deficiency issues. And this will certainly alleviate some of those concerns. Obviously, it's not a one-time thing, and it won't be enough to satisfy other districts, but I'm hoping that it is a master plan, and we have more coming. But thank you for giving it high priority. I just want to know that how many miles are we talking about replacing? And what our projected areas of operations are next?
It's almost a mile, and what we do is we evaluate it's a little over a mile, about a mile worth of sewer pipe that we're replacing. And next year we will reevaluate our master plan. We look for areas of concern. We look for areas that have development going on, and we will try to concentrate in those areas. Since we have a great deal of work that has to be done citywide, it's pretty easy to kind of direct it anywhere and help out economic development and other specific projects that we got going on. So we try to do that.
So thank you for your report, and I just want to speak to our residents and business there to be patient when the construction is underway. There'll be a certain amount of traffic and construction blockage, but in those months, and we'll get it out of the way by October, I hear. Thank you very much.
Director Devin, any other?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Yeah, just going back to the master plan, there is a master plan in place where we identify sewer lines that may be getting towards the end of their useful lifespan, and we prioritize those as part of the plan, correct?
Yeah, the main priorities really have to do with capacity, because we have a capacity assurance plan, and the whole purpose of that is to prevent sewer overflows. Because when I first got here, we hadn't constructed a sewer line or an improvement to sewer facilities since the early 70s, and I got here in the mid-90s. So I constructed a sewer line in Brookhurst, and that was the first improvement that we'd had in that time. And we've been working ever since to try and get everything upgraded.
in those 35 years, you've pretty much touched a lot of the places, a lot of the city as far as sewer replacement at this point.
Yeah, we've got all of the big areas
I'd say
accommodated.
more than 1%.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. That's kind of the point I was getting at. I didn't want people to be in fear that our sewers are in imminent danger of collapsing, and it's going to be a big horror show. That's not the fact, correct?
No, we do have sewers that do collapse from time to time, and we go out and address those on emergency. But these types of projects that we have, like I said, we have an active cleaning and videoing program, so that we essentially throughout an entire fiscal year will clean every single sewer line in the city and video it. And what the video is studied by the engineers, and they're looking for modes of failure. You can see the cracking on the top, the tops of the sides of the pipe, wherever it happens to be failing. And also, if a pipe gets dislodged, and so you have a disconnect in the pipe because a piece of it settled, then we will assign those projects to be repaired. And those will go up based on the amount of flow that's in there. So if we have a line that's failing in Brookhurst and is 36 inches in diameter, excuse me, that will take priority over a house sewer, because, an 8-inch line that's running through a residential community.
And most of these lines we're talking about are clay pipe, right?
Most of them are.
Okay.
Yeah, and clay pipe does have a very long lifespan, generally 50. I mean, we have clay pipe in this country that's 250 years old, but once it starts to hit 50, we're looking to replace it.
Sure. Well, thank you. And with that, I'll second the motion.
May I?
Oh, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick note for the resident out there. When I look at the packet, and it show 2.687 mil for the length of only almost about 1 mile, right? So I did the calculation and see how expensive it is. But after having the discussion with Director Bill, it turned out that if you look at the bid, actually some of the bid were almost double of that the bid that we selected. So after talking to the director and getting more information, this is what we have to pay. So I know that earlier one of our residents mentioned about how expensive it's gonna be for replaying and things like that, but that's the cost that we have to pay. So that's it, just a quick note.
Thank you. We have a motion second. I'll just add real quick before we vote. Most of this is driven too by sizing. We need to upgrade the size of the pipe. You'd be surprised at how well some of these clay pipes, because I've seen them myself, how well they stand up to time if they're undisturbed and they're treated and maintained correctly. So we're always doing that. But a lot of the new stuff going in has to do with sizing down up the line and down the line to have the right sizing for the development. So appreciate all your work on that, Bill. Thank you for coming in for that. I have a motion and a second. Let's call for the vote. Did we get everybody?
Member Dovian. Motion receives 7 yes votes.
All right, thank you. Any matters for the board? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn till the next regular meeting for February 27th, 5:30 p.m. in this room. Thank you. Back to council.
Thank you. We'll reconvene City Council. That takes us on to consent. Recommended that 3A through 3H be acted on simultaneously.
Move it.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right. Public hearings, item 4A.
Item 4A is a public hearing. It's an adoption of urgency ordinance number 2950, extending urgency ordinance number 2949, imposing a moratorium on the approval of substance abuse treatment centers pursuant to Government Code Section 65858, entitled An Urgency Interim Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove, authorizing a 10-month and 15-day extension of urgency ordinance number 2949, imposing a moratorium on the approval of substance abuse treatment centers pursuant to California Government Code Section 65858. And Ms. Wetzel is here to give that report.
Thank you. Actually, the report tonight will be given by City Attorney Sandoval.
Yes, Mayor, members of the City Council. Back in December 20th, the City Council adopted an urgency ordinance imposing a moratorium on substance abuse treatment centers. And before you today is an ordinance that is also urgency and temporary to extend the moratorium for another 10 months and 15 days, which will be a total of 1 year. And that time is necessary for our planning department and some of our other departments to participate in a study to identify any potential impacts and also appropriate legislation and regulations that we can adopt in order to mitigate the impacts that we can identify with these particular types of businesses. Just really quickly to recap, the reason why we needed this moratorium is that two things. Number one, we have a certified housing element, and in order to meet the state's requirements to zone for the development of over 19,000 housing units, we took a lot of our commercial zones and we either did overlays or we rezoned them for mixed use, which means that we can now have housing on areas that were previously only allowed commercial. And in doing so, we did not identify the fact that medical offices are encompass a lot of uses, a lot of clinics, and including treatment centers for these types of treatment centers that we've identified that could have impacts that could affect development of residential communities and also existing communities. And so in order to make sure that we can mitigate any potential impacts, we need the time to study appropriate regulations to make sure that we satisfy not only the public health and safety of our existing residents and future residents, but also satisfy the state of California mandate to make sure that we not only promote additional housing, but also protect our current housing stock. And that's the reason we need the extra time. And so our recommendation is to have the mayor open the public hearing, take testimony, then once you're done taking testimony, you can close the public hearing, deliberate, and also adopt the ordinance before you to extend the moratorium for another 10 months and 15 days. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Colleagues, any clarification questions, or should we open the public hearing? I do have 5 cards. Do that first. Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Paul Simmons.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak before you this evening. My name is Paul Simons. I'm with Kurt Pringle and Associates, and tonight I'm with my client, Acadia Healthcare. I do have written comments, and I won't get too far off script, but really what we're doing here today is that Acadia was looking to move to the city of Garden Grove. Acadia engaged city staff back in in February of last year, and asked about a potential location, a potential site, and verified that the zoning would allow them to proceed with that development. They went through the real estate process, and then as that process unfolded, they reached back out to the city in May of 2023 to verify the zoning would allow them to proceed. From there, they finalized the real estate process, and then we met with city staff. We met with city staff because the zoning would allow this project to move forward by right. Instead of just putting in an application and proceeding with a building permit, we met with city staff to say, hey, this is who we are, this is what the project is, this is how we can be a benefit to the community. We asked if there were any questions or concerns or challenges with our project, with the plan. There were none raised. And then a week and a half later, this urgency ordinance came before you all, which was passed, which would then prohibit Acadia from moving forward. Who is Acadia? Acadia is a comprehensive treatment center providing life-saving solutions to folks who are taking the hard step to overcome opioid addiction, including the scourge of fentanyl. In Orange County, fentanyl has grown to become the most common opioid among opioid overdose deaths. Fentanyl was found in 19.5% of deaths in 2017. In 2021, it rose to 86.8%. Further, fentanyl is responsible for nearly 70% of the 110,000 deaths, opioid deaths in the U.S. this past year. So here's what we know about CTCs. CTCs, 80% of our patients are opioid-free after 6 months. Our patients stick to it. More than 60% of our patients are still in treatment after 90 days, compared to 20% of patients who seek other forms of treatment. We see 49% increase in employment with our patients. These folks are doing the hard work, and they're getting back out and bettering their lives. Acadia is serving more than 700 patients monthly in Santa Ana. Our lease is up later this year, which is what precipitated the need to move. We identified the property at 8132 Garden Grove Boulevard. We are set to close on the property here at the end of the month, and herein lies the dilemma, all of the challenges that I just laid out. The intent when we met with staff was really to develop a relationship with the city to understand if there are any concerns to discuss that we could mitigate with this project. None were raised. We invited city officials to come visit our facility in Santa Ana, and no one took us up on that offer. We respectfully request for you to vote no on this item tonight. Folks are counting on that. Of the 700 patients that we see in Santa Ana, 250 of those patients live within 5 miles of the proposed site. Those are people who live in the city of Garden Grove. I did want to point out one piece as well. In looking at the housing element of the city, I know that there's a buffer as well that's incorporated into the housing element. This site is identified as a potential site or an opportunity site. Allowing Acadia to move into this facility would not bust those numbers. You would not be running afoul of the housing numbers that you are proposed as part of your housing element. HCD actually took a very similar ruling on an issue in the city of Yorba Linda just last week. We respectfully request you to vote no on this item and allow us to move forward with our project. Thank you so much. Did you have questions, Mayor? I'm sorry.
We can wait until everyone speaks.
Okay.
Diana? We do?
Hello, I'm Diana Wido. It's very nice to be here this evening. I am very privileged to be in front of you this evening. So, I'd like to start and tell you a little bit about myself. I am a resident of Orange County. I live in Huntington Beach. I have a master's degree in social work, and I've worked for Acadia Healthcare since 2016. I work primarily out of our Santa Ana CTC. That is the clinic we very much hope to relocate to your city. I want to tell you a little bit about who we are, because I think there's a lot of misnomer about who we are and what we do. And the truth of the matter is we save lives every single day. You all know the stats on fentanyl. You know that during our quarantine, during our shutdown, our streets became flooded with fentanyl. At my Santa Ana CTC, I went from having 500 patients to just today having 720 patients. If they weren't at our clinic, where would they be? So what is it that we do? Well, I represent the CTC division. We are the largest provider of medication-assisted treatment in the country. We have 157 CTCs across the country. Here in California, I have 14 clinics. We're in 32 states. I do not represent a detox facility. I do not represent a sober living home. We are not residential treatment. We are a medical clinic that provides medication that is FDA approved to treat opiate addiction. We know fentanyl is bad. We are the only answer to saving lives. And before I close, I want to make sure you know the faces of who works at our clinics. So I would like to take just a few minutes to introduce my staff, because I think it's important you see them. They are passionate about the work we do and the lives we save every day. Valerie, my clinic director. She's been with me since 2019. Holly, my nursing supervisor. She's been with me since 2016. Joy, my office manager. She's been with me since 2016. Missy, my lead counselor. She's been with me since 2019. The medications we provide are methadone, they're bupe, they're naltrexone, they're Vivitrol, they're Sublocade. They are no different than the medications patients take to treat diabetes. Diabetics take insulin. People with high blood pressure take blood pressure medication. Our patients who are addicted to opiates need this medication. They need this medication because there's been physiological changes to their brain because of their opiate addiction. And once again, there's this misnomer that we're going to bring a certain element to your community. 45% of my patients are actively employed. We have very unusual clinic hours. They're from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Why so early? Because the majority of our patients are working. They're on medication. I can guarantee you, you know someone who's on a medication-assisted treatment. With as bad as this opiate epidemic is in Orange County, I can guarantee you know someone. Our goal is to make our patients healthy and whole and protective members of society. We want the opportunity to partner with you. We are the solution to the problem in Orange County. And I ask that you see me tonight, you hear me. The crisis is real. And I need some place to continue the very important work that we do. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Daniel Hymas.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. So my name is Dan Hymas. I'm the Regional Vice President with Acadia Healthcare's Comprehensive Treatment Centers Division. I've been with the company about 7 years now. So I come to speak to you tonight on behalf of Acadia, but also on behalf of the patients that we serve. So as we were looking to relocate our Santa Ana facility over a year ago, we were presented with many options in Orange County where we could move our facility to. One of those options was here in Garden Grove, and we selected the building in Garden Grove for a number of reasons. Number one, it's a big building, would meet our needs well, has a big parking lot, it's on a big lot, it's fenced in, everything we kind of look for in a property. Secondly, it was zoned appropriate for our use. And then third, Garden Grove has a great reputation for working with providers such as us to meet the needs of your constituents and the people that you serve. So we made the decision to move forward with Garden Grove. So we reached out back in February, as Paul said, that we reached out in February, reached back out again in May. We're told we were zoned by right. So we spent the last year working on our project to move to this city. In December, as we're making preparations to finalize the purchase on the building, I asked my local team, Diana and her team, to reach out to city officials, to communicate to them, introduce us to you, to show you the passion we have. I think you've seen that tonight with Diana, the passion we have for serving our patients. A couple weeks later, after they reached out to city staff, this moratorium came into effect. So again, we did our due diligence, acted in good faith and have been planning this for almost a year. Now we have this moratorium that prevents us from opening, which gives us less than 6 months to relocate our facility starting from ground zero again. That's not possible. So here we are with 700 patients, that their lives are at risk, and we're standing in front of you tonight asking you to please discontinue the moratorium. Let us open. Let us serve the constituents in your community. That's what we came here prepared to do. Please let us do it. Thank you.
Marina Sanchez.
Hi, good evening. My name is Marina, and I am a patient at the clinic at Recovery Solutions of Santa Ana, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about how they've helped me. Before I started the program, I was addicted to opioids, of course. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. They're very helpful. They've given me a second chance. I was able to get back in school, become a nurse, recover my family. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for their help, their support, and everything they do for their patients. They do it out of love, and we need them. They save lives. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of their help. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Tom Windhausen.
Good evening, City Council. Mayor. My name is Tom Windhausen. I've been a patient at this clinic for 7.5 years. Along with becoming a patient of theirs 7.5 years ago, I also, to stay sober, I started volunteering at a local homeless ministry in the city, the Shaw Plus Ministry on Chapman and Euclid at the First Presbyterian Church of Garden Grove. And I started volunteering there during the, twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays when they're open. And 5.5 years ago, they asked me to help run the place with them and take it over. And just about a month ago, they gave me the entire program, put it in my hands, and I run it for them. And we've done a lot with the place. Along with doing just showers and meals now, we also offer medical services to them. We have nurses, we have doctors, we have OC health specialists there daily, offering them their medication, taking them to appointments, getting them Ubers when they need to go to appointments and things like that. And we also have housing specialists there. I mean, I can name 5 homeless people who have found housing this last year alone from our ministry. And all of this was possible because of this clinic. They saved my life, they saved my family, and they've made all this possible for our community. So they've already done a good deed for our community. So I ask that you please consider voting down this moratorium. Thank you.
Nicholas Dibbs.
Mayor Jones, members of the council, I don't pretend to be an expert on this issue of fentanyl. I do want to say that as a teacher and an educator, my website, Dibbs Digital Wellness, deals with the abuse of online platforms and the need to protect kids from online abuse. Well, a lot of the fentanyl is being sold or distributed online, and so the Sheriff's Department, Orange County Sheriff's Department, has gone around to different cities and to different things, different venues, and have given reports about the epidemic of fentanyl, and it has affected a lot of young people. During the hearing, I asked in the back if they're going to be treating teenagers, and they said yes, with parent consent. I think everyone wants to be treated fair, and it's, from what I heard tonight, they came to the city before the moratorium existed. So my suggestion is to do some sort of a amendment to the moratorium, that because they applied before the moratorium happened, you can grandfather them in, I would hope. But the fentanyl is affecting a lot of young people as well as older people. And it seems like it's a good thing to have this clinic here, even though I've never been there. I'm not addicted, fortunately. But we need to have the treatment options for those who need the help. And that includes people of all ages, including the children and the young people who fall trapped to this. And the slogan is "One pill can kill." So I'm hoping that the clinic, if they're approved to continue in Garden Grove, that they will have some sort of educational outreach to the community, to the schools, and different things. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I'm going to just say that as an idea to the people in the back, that if you can do something on the prevention side as part of your clinic, that would be great. So I encourage the council and the staff to consider just doing an amendment to your moratorium, because they were in the works before the moratorium happened. I do know that other cities have instituted similar moratoriums, but I think in this case, you should allow an amendment or of something, or whatever you would call it, to allow them to be allowed to come and do their clinic, because they approached the city and they were having discussions with the city before the moratorium happened. So that's all I can say about that. Thank you for listening. And don't forget my website, dibsdigitalwellness.org, on protecting the kids from online abuse. Thank you.
Maureen Blackman.
Hi, I didn't realize this was going to turn into what it is tonight, but there's an old saying, location, location, location. And I appreciate all the work that's being done to service these people, and I appreciate the people who are taking the time to restore their lives. I just know that I drive by Beach Boulevard and Garden Grove Boulevard every single day, twice a day, and what you see there is zombies on the street. You see people who are, and I'm not saying these people are, I'm saying that is a concentrated area of a problem. I know the city is working on with Cal Optima, the motel, but it's an ongoing situation. It goes from Walmart to the other side of Caltrans, to the other side of the 22, back over to the church, back over to Frat House, back over to Rodeo 39. Don't ask me how they get it done, but they don't keep them there. This location could not be a worse location for anything other than this. Location, location, location. They had to put a fence up because these people were crawling up the walls. I just say that since I live nearby there, I see it every day, twice a day. It's just a horrible location. I can't wait for it to get rectified. Thank you.
That's all the cards I have. Anyone else wishing to speak on this public hearing item? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues, go ahead, Joe.
I have just some short questions for the presenters and also a couple for our staff, the city attorney. I'm leaning towards abstaining because I'm not too comfortable with voting up this moratorium, but I don't want to vote it down either. So I'm thinking out loud a little bit. I see the applicants have done much of their due diligence, and it seems like myself as council member has to do my due diligence, and that means educating myself on the prospects. And so it's what I'm doing, because I don't recall meeting any one of you on the dais since I've been here December 2022. I haven't seen any of you. I haven't heard from you. I haven't been told about the prospects of a clinic in Garden Grove or on Garden Grove Boulevard. So it's a bit unfair to me to vote yes or no on a moratorium when I don't know all the implications. So I'm going to ask you questions. One, why did you lose your lease in Santa Ana? Why can't you extend it? And where are the other prospective locations? Two, what kind of real estate deal are you having here in Garden Grove? Are you buying the property or renting? And how long is your lease? If you intend to move into Garden Grove, we'd like to know how long do you want to operate here in Garden Grove. Three, I've heard that you've gone from 500 patients to 700 patients, and there may be an explosion of patients as soon as you get to Garden Grove. We're looking at that number increasing, not decreasing. So I want to hear your projected patients. Is it going to be in the thousands? You should appreciate our concern. We've got residents here, Maureen Blackman, who has concerns, and I'm sure there's plenty more out there. Four, what has been your history at the other locations around Orange County? Have you had a lot of service calls? Are there safety issues? Other than fencing, are you going to post security guards? Are there risks of drugs on site and robberies happening? I'm just asking questions. I'm not speculating. I'm trying to educate myself. So anybody who spoke today can try to answer those questions. And the only question I'm going to ask our city attorney is, can we amend the moratorium to have a shorter window and bring it back sooner than 10 months or 12 months or whatever it is we're proposing? And that's it. Thank you.
We'll reopen the public hearing so that his questions can be addressed, so please come forward.
Thank you for your questions. It's a lot of good questions. So we'll take them one by one if we can. So first one was why we're moving from our current location. Is that right? So the landlord that we lease from made the decision a number of years ago that gave us the heads up he didn't want to renew the lease. That area of Santa Ana has been plagued with homelessness, and we've been affected too. The problematic nature of the surroundings of our clinic are not our patients. So there's been some pressure from the city of Santa Ana for our landlord because of the nature of the surrounding area. So second question, can you remind me please what your second question was? Okay, so
the real estate.
Yeah, so yeah, real estate. So we are purchasing the building. We plan on being here long term. And I appreciate, is it Maureen? I appreciate your comments because we see that too. But those aren't our patients. If they are our patients, they're getting better. They're not the ones outside that are zombified. That's the problem we are the solution to. So that's why we do what we do. As we mentioned earlier, after 6 months in treatment, 80% of our patients are no longer using illicit opioids. That's what we do, and that's why we want to be the solution. What else? Tried to memorize them all, but.
If I may, Mayor.
Oh, projected patient numbers. Yeah, so honestly, we treat as many patients as we possibly can, and personally, I'd love to go out of business. That would mean we solved the opioid epidemic, right? But we've exploded because fentanyl's becoming a larger and larger problem. One of the reasons we chose this building is because it's equipped to handle a larger population. But we're not bringing in people from outside. We're not bringing in people from other communities to infiltrate your community. We're treating a problem that already exists. And as Diana pointed out, more than about half of our patients are gainfully employed. They have jobs. They're not going to be coming in and contributing to the problem.
Dan's really tall, I'm really short, so I have to move it down. just to talk a little bit about, you had some questions, I believe, about security. So we have security. We have a guard that works during clinic hours. We have a national contract with Tyco Johnson Controls. We have a full-fledged security system. Some other things I want to point out. I mentioned we're not a bad actor. We're not a sober living. We're not a residential. We are a CARF accredited medical clinic. We are licensed, certified by the state of California Department of Healthcare and Human Services. We are contracted with Orange County Healthcare Agency for their Medi-Cal recipients. We have close to 680 Medi-Cal recipients through Orange County that we treat through the healthcare agency. So who else do we treat? We're also Medicare certified. Medicare pays for our services. So we service, as we indicated, a considerably younger population, but the fentanyl problem is very significant in 60 and above. We also have commercial contracts. Kaiser, Cigna, MHN, they also audit us and regulate us, just as the healthcare agency does, just as the DEA does. We are more regulated, I promise you, than the majority of the healthcare agencies and clinics operating. We take security very seriously. Our current environment, where with Santa Ana CTC is located, is not conducive for medical treatment. We need a new home. We need some place to treat the epidemic of fentanyl in Orange County. What's your next question? Because I don't remember.
And then just to elaborate on that too, just all the medications stored securely according to DEA regulations. It's stored in a safe. In my time with the company, we have 157 clinics like this nationwide, never had a problem with medication being stolen because of our security measures.
If I may, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, there was two other additional questions from Councilmember Dovin. One is, what has been your working history at your current location and calls for service? And lastly, a follow-up question to City Attorney Sandoval relating to the amendment of the moratorium term. So those are the two additional questions to be responded.
So we've operated in Santa Ana for over 20 years. We're not new. We did switch locations, and that predates me, so I don't remember the exact location prior to the one we're currently in. So we've been a permanent fixture in Santa Ana. Calls, you did see my staff back here and me, because I work out of that clinic. We don't have a lot of incidents with our patients. We're helping them. Our average time in clinic is under 4 minutes. Our patients come in, they check into our kiosk, they get into the queue, they dose at our dosing windows, and they leave the clinic. We have a no loitering policy, and the average time from the point they enter to leave is 4 minutes or under.
Let me follow up with that. It doesn't disregard your calculus, your own calculation, that your patient number will increase. So I'm going to stand by my evaluation that if move into Garden Grove, is here long term. So I want the residents of Garden Grove to know that, so we take it with a lot of seriousness. We're going to vote up something that's potentially here 20, maybe 50 years, which can go either way. I am convinced that you're part of the solution. I'm convinced of that. But I have to do more of my own research and to take a harder look at it. That's why I think the moratorium is justified. And I'm not yet convinced that you can handle a lot of the problems that comes with drug addiction, including what you already mentioned, is loitering. Now, if there is loitering, Will your security people do that? Or will that require service call from our police department? Because I've seen loitering. I know loitering. And that's part of the problem. I'm not against treatment, not against clinic, but we need a little more time to study. And I've already said, I haven't met any of you before. And I want you to know that the demographics of Garden Grove is unique, and it's more diverse than Santa Ana. Now, whether you say that your patients will follow you or not, I am convinced that they will, because that's what patients do. They follow their healthcare providers. And I want you to service a more diverse community, including Korean speaking, Vietnamese speaking, Chinese speaking, and other languages in association with Spanish speaking, which I think you have already covered. So you need time also to study the demographics of the community you're going to serve. And they will come from everywhere in Orange County, if not statewide. So we're not talking about a localized impact upon one street or one building. We're talking about a regional impact of several cities. Your location is on the border with Stanton, Westminster, to say the least. Fountain Valley, Santa Ana. We're going to open a navigation center that serves at least 3 cities: Fountain Valley, Westminster, and Garden Grove. We're going to open it up this year. And I'd like to see a clinic, a treatment clinic in Garden Grove. But I'm not yet comfortable unless you give us time for the moratorium. So whether the city manager and attorney can modify the moratorium or not, we need a supermajority to pass the moratorium. And I'm likely going to do my diligence by voting for that. It doesn't mean that your project is not being considered or that you might not get a favorable vote in the end, but I think there's more homework to do. That's it.
Is it okay if I make one comment? So in regards to the patients will come, we are licensed by the state. There's a huge need in this community, we know this, but the state gives me patient slots. I have to go to the state through our licensure and request patient slots. I just can't take anybody that walks in the door. Right now, our patient slot capacity is 755. Before we were even be able to move into a potential new site, I'd have to be, again, licensed through the state. The DEA would have to come out. It's a very labor-intensive, time-consuming process to move one of our clinics. We are out of time, quite frankly. We're out of time.
Well, let me ask you then, because I know your patients, if not going to explode in numbers, is going to at least double from 700. So where is your cap? Is there a cap? And how long does it take? And why are people being denied? I want equal access. Why are you turning people away? Is it because of the cap?
I don't control the patient slots, the state does. So right now, the state will not give me any more patient slots than 755. Now, once again, this is through California Department of Healthcare Services. They will not give me any more slots to treat patients until we have a larger facility.
And that a facility may be in Garden Grove. So what are you able to handle? And are you ready to scale up in terms of hiring more employees and workers?
We are.
Upwards of what? The building that you're moving into potentially, how many patients can it sustain?
If you know the site, it's quite large. That's why we really, really like it.
Give me a number. I want the number that
So
you
I think we
project.
could, if the state approves, remember, this is all contingent upon the state. I would love to say, oh, we'll have 2,000. No, we won't have 2,000. But I mean, I think a fair number would probably be about, 850 to 900. I think that would be a fair number. And I hear you with what you're saying about the cultural diversity and the different makeup of this community and what we've typically done. I oversee my clinic in Sacramento. That has a very diverse population as well. So you're right. We would need to hire counselors that speak the patient's language. That is so very important. In a treatment capacity, you need to be able to communicate with the patients effectively. And I think you also know, as I know, that in the community that we have here in Garden Grove, there are people who are suffering from opiate addiction, but due to their culture, don't seek treatment. And I would like to be part of that solution. We can work together. We can find the solutions. No one has to die.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, and possibly Councilman Dovin, could I just jump in here real quick? I just want to refresh everybody that we're voting on an urgency ordinance for moratorium, a temporary moratorium. We're not debating the merits of your organization up or down. This is actually, I think it should be voted on the moratorium should be voted on tonight to give the city time. We owe it, where it's incumbent upon us to represent our constituents to study this and figure out where we're at. We're not going to we could be here all night, on the merits of whether it should be in that location or whether you're a good organization or bad. That's not the point. The point is that the ordinance in front of us is a temporary moratorium for the city to do a study, and not a study on whether it's a good or bad organization. It's a study to whether we need to take the time as a city by the constituents that elected us to make sure that this is the best location. And we're not even saying that you won't be in the city somewhere else. It could be location, it could be there, it could be a number of things. Anyway, I just wanted to interject there a little bit before we got too far off the tangent here.
Yeah,
Way off
thanks,
topic.
Thanks, John, for getting that back and forth.
She was before me. Yeah, she had.
So thank you for having the meeting and reschedule. And we heard your passion and all that. But two quick things. You said that you have more than 500 patients. So every single day there will be that many patients come to the clinic. Is that correct?
So we treat right now, on average, 243 patients. We schedule patients. So patients have the days of the week they need to present at the clinic, so the clinic is never overloaded on one particular day. And it's not just daily dosing at the window. During COVID, we're federally regulated. The federal regulations changed and allowed greater liberties with take-home medications. So it's not that all of our patients are coming to the clinic daily. Some are, as we seek to stabilize them, but some are also receiving extended take-homes, which means they could be getting anywhere from one take-home, which would be their Sunday take-home, or they could be getting up to 28 days worth of take-homes, depending upon where they are in their treatment and their compliance with the program.
The second question would be about the population. You mentioned a little bit about there's some Garden Grove residents, but I want to know what about other, like the patient that you have, what other city that part of that?
So
Majority.
I pulled that data before this meeting, and you heard the stat. We've got 250 plus patients in a 5-mile radius of the proposed site. We have patients in every single city of Orange County. From Dana Point, Mission Viejo, Alicia Viejo, they come to our clinic. If you're looking for where there's other high-density patient populations, it's Santa Ana and Tustin. That's the second, and followed by Anaheim.
Thank you. I don't want to take too much of the time here, but I heard what Maureen said, and I got a lot of call for the issue on that corner, even though it's not in my district. But people call me and say there's so many homeless or whatever in that area, Garden Grove and Beach Boulevard, and so I know that you invite us to come to the clinic, but when I talk to the staff were gonna do the study and go back to council member. Just John just mentioned this is just a study. We're not saying yes or no or in terms of bad or not good, any of that. It's just that we need more time to see, what is that we are doing. So, thank you.
Well, you are all welcome to come to the clinic. And if you come to the clinic, it'll be a very quick tour because we're just not even 4,000 square feet. We treat all these patients with 2 dosing windows. Most of our clinics nationally that have the patient census we have at least 4 to 5 windows operating. The work my staff do an amazing job of managing our patients and providing excellent care. But I welcome all of you to come for a tour. It will be very quick because there's not much to see, but you're very welcome to come. And I would love to give you that tour.
George?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to commend your staff and you guys for the work you guys do for the community. Honestly, 38 years in law enforcement, young Los Angeles police officer, I can remember going over to the 7-Eleven by the methadone clinic and getting my coffee every morning. And I met a gentleman by the name of Henry, who was always in line, for about 8 years. I'd see him every night. We knew each other, first name, and he finally kicked it, and he now is the manager of that very 7-Eleven I used to go in and get my get my methadone.
Oh, wow, they're diversifying.
So I do realize that there are a lot of success stories with this, and I do commend you for what you guys do. With that being said, I also see our due diligence for our community. I think you said 255 patients you saw today. That's a lot of people coming in and out. And, the city really does not need time to make sure we're doing this properly. I want to make sure, and John made the point, this is not a prohibition that we're talking about here. We are talking simply a temporary moratorium so the city can decide and look into it and see how this conflicts with the RENA situation, what it's going to do to the neighborhood, just so we can make an informed, educated decision when this goes forward. And so, I think that's, as council members, we kind of have to look at the community and look at the well-being of everything. So a no vote or a yes vote on this tonight is not denying that you guys are doing good jobs, because believe me, you are. I know you are. It's simply saying we need time to look into this. We need to explore all the options, make sure we're not, by approving you guys, we're not violating other laws that could be in existence. And quite frankly, I think there may be a few of those situations that we need to deal with before we proceed. So anyway, you plan on being here long term, and we need to do it right. We need to do it right, because if you are going to be here for 20, 30 years, 50 years, whatever it is, we need to make sure that we have the codes in place, we have everything locked down properly for the community, and so that's kind of where I'm looking at it.
Colleagues, any other questions, or may we close the public hearing?
No other questions.
Okay.
I can answer the question before, in case there's additional discussion. So in terms of the question,
should we keep them up there, or do we close the public hearing and then?
We were going to close the
okay, let's go ahead and close the public hearing. That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. So in terms of the question as to whether you can adopt a shorter period, the statute does not allow for that. So only gives us opportunity to amend or extend the moratorium twice. And one of them is for what's proposed today, and then the second one would be for an additional year. Now, if you do adopt the moratorium, you need a 4/5 vote, which is minimum 6 yes votes to pass the moratorium and extend it. And second of all, even if you adopt the moratorium and we have this 10-month period, it doesn't mean that the council cannot, in less than 10 months, lift it.
Right.
It just comes down to how much time we need in order to either figure out whether this is appropriate location for these types of uses, whether we need additional regulation for these types of uses different from regular medical offices, and how quickly we can get those before Planning Commission and then City Council. You know, if we can do it in less than 10 months, great. But state law says you have the option to extend it twice. The first time, 10 months, 15 days. The second time, 12 months, and that's all. So there's a maximum on the moratorium that the state law allows us.
Thank you.
With that, I'll move the recommended recommendation to the ordinance for the moratorium.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, please call the vote.
Motion receives, 7 yes votes.
Alrighty, thank you. That takes us on to items for consideration. And we do have several items listed, starting with 5A.
Item 5A is award a contract to Wildan Engineering to provide consultant engineering services, and Mr. Murray is here to give that report.
Ms. Pomeroy. Actually, yeah, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Tonight, City Council is being asked to award a contract to Wildan Engineering for civil engineering services for the city's capital improvement projects that are managed by the Engineering Division of Public Works. Due to recent retirements, staff has determined that additional engineering services will be required to handle the project workload until the position is permanently filled. Staff received proposals from 2 qualified firms and rated the firms with respect to their experience and specific services offered. Staff negotiated a contract with the highest rated firm, and Wildan Engineering was determined to be the most qualified firm and offered the highest level of service as rated by city staff. The contract is for a not to exceed amount of $300,000. The funding for these contracts is basically will be paid for out of the capital improvement budget, and it'll be a charge to each project. The staff is recommending that the professional services contract be awarded tonight and to authorize the city manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. This concludes staff's report. I'm available should you have any questions.
Thanks, Bill. Questions, comments, motion?
Move it.
Second. Call the vote.
Motion receives, 7 yes votes.
5B.
Item 5B is the authorization of the issuance of a purchase order to Sun Road Auto LLC, doing business as Kearney Mesa Ford, for the purchase of 15 police patrol vehicles. And again, Mr. Murray will give that report.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Pomeroy. Mr. Mayor, members of council. Tonight, the City Council is being asked to authorize the purchase of 15 new police patrol vehicles from Kearney Mesa Ford. The vehicles are being purchased through a purchase order that was issued by the County of San Diego. The county's competitive bid program provides a cost-effective solution for purchasing the required vehicles. Vehicles are the regular patrol vehicles that look like Explorer SUVs, by the way. The number of vehicles and prices are listed in your staff report. The financial impact is for just under $814,000, and that's to the Vehicle Management Fund. And there's no impact to the general fund. This concludes staff's report, and I'm available should you have any questions.
Thanks, Bill. Colleagues?
I have a question, or more of a statement. You know, I was looking into why so many, 15 of them. You know, it seemed like a big number. I asked staff, and the question was resolved when I was told that, I don't know if you remember, we had that big chip shortage, and they couldn't get vehicles because there was no chips to make the vehicles with. And so we went a long time without being able to do replacement. So that's why there's 15 of them on this one. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. And with that being said, I'll make the motion.
Call the vote.
First,
Motion receives, 7 yes votes.
All right, 5C.
Item 5C is the first reading of an ordinance to update the Garden Grove Housing Authority composition and tenant commissioner appointments. And that ordinance is entitled, An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove, amending Section 25630 of Chapter 256 of Title 2 of the Garden Grove Municipal Code pertaining to the composition and appointment of tenant commissioners to the Garden Grove Housing Authority. And Mr. Sandoval is here to answer any of your questions.
Mayor, members of the City Council, we are catching up with the times, and currently the municipal code says that the Housing Authority consists of 7 members, 5 council members, and 2 tenants, and we need to update that to what it is today, which is basically 7 council members and 2 tenants. The other change is that the appointment of commissioners is now, if you adopt this ordinance, would now take place at the same time as the other commissions. So it would be basically the first meeting in December after the general elections. Somehow it was out of whack. And so this brings the code up to date to be consistent with the other commissions and consistent with the number of commissioners that are on the Housing Authority. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
So basically a language change and then coinciding the date of the
appointments, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Call to vote.
Motion receives, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. That takes us on to matters. We do have one listed, item 6A. And then keep in mind, we do have closed session as well after this with a couple items.
Item 6A is a discussion on a proposed temporary regional canine support training facility at Pioneer Park as requested by the City Council, and I believe we do have a report.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, Economic Development Director Ursula Luna Reynoser will be here shortly to provide an update of the proposed program details and seeking council direction to proceed.
There she is. Your microphone.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Staff was asked to bring forward a formal staff report for your consideration regarding Pioneer Park. As outlined in the staff report, this city already has a joint use agreement with the Garden Grove School District for Pioneer Park, so it seemed like a good location, particularly because our support dogs support the school district, and there is interest in exploring the feasibility of a canine training facility in Orange County. Currently, our handlers have to take the apprehension dogs as well as the support dogs out of the county for training that's required. And this item is to explore what a site plan might look like, what it would cost to do those improvements. There are some fencing improvements. There's some equipment that would be needed. Attachment A to your staff report shows what some of that equipment is. It's all portable. It would then be stored within some containers on site. And this would be a pilot to see how what the response is from other law enforcement agencies that need canine training facilities, see what the community response is to it. All of these improvements would be temporary and easily removed in the event that it doesn't go well, and in the event that it does, we can make them permanent and work with the school district on the process for permanent improvements. Part of this feasibility would be to cost all of that out and to look for potential partners and donors as part of that, and come back to the council with what that cost would be, with hopefully the school district in support and potentially an MOU for your consideration. I'm available to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. As you know, I brought this forward at the last council meeting. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. There's definitely been some internal meetings to kind of flesh this out a little bit and decide upon how best to go about this sort of pilot program and opportunity. I'm very excited that Pioneer Park has been sort of located as the premier spot for this, if you will. I think it's a park that further activation is needed and will be welcome in the community and for East Garden Grove as a whole. This is also a win for canine service dogs, not just for our own here in Garden Grove, but honestly all over Southern California. And the exposure to that program, to police training dogs, to Garden Grove is going to be fantastic. And not only that, it's a great synergy opportunity just between the city of Garden Grove, our school district, and our police, which we always are looking to strengthen. So, I think that this is temporary. We're just at the beginning stages of what this could look like, and the growth opportunity is there. So I would really appreciate my colleagues' support. And with that, I'd like to make a motion.
I have first I want to thank Councilwoman Kloffenstein for bringing this forward because I think it's a great idea. My biggest thing I like is that it's close to the police facility, so they can actually get there and not have to drive a long way and all that. So anyway, with that being said, for the same reasons, I think this is an awesome opportunity, and hopefully this will grow. We'll see this grow. But
And I'll just add to what George's mindset there is, since we're going to be under construction for a couple of years, maybe on the police department safety building, that a lot of that green space will be temporarily fenced in, so that's a great place to put this, I think.
people like to be able to see the animals working
Yeah.
when they're being trained and stuff. People probably get excited. Oh, there's the police. They're training the canines.
Especially with the kids.
Yeah, so probably be a draw for a lot of the kids too.
I would just want to make sure that I got noted for the second, but I also want to chime in to say that this park has been kind of a problematic park for the 7 years that Stephanie and I have been on council, and we've tag team different efforts around this park. So I think that this is going to hopefully alleviate some of that. Of course, I'm extremely supportive of our canines, our wonderful canines, and the officers that train them. So this is, I think, 2 birds, 1 stone, and I'm really excited to see it through and happy that she brought this forward.
Motion receives 7 yes votes.
I guess I better turn my mic on. This Saturday, the first bulky item cleanup day is happening, and thank you, Councilwoman Kim Wynn Penalone. I always say it Penalone. I'm going to say it fast eventually. But for bringing those forward to our community, I think they've been very well received throughout the whole city. The first one's going to be at Pacifica this Saturday between 9 a.m. and 11. So if you have any, those bulky items that you replaced with some of those Christmas presents or, whatnot, feel free to bring them by. They'll be there again until 11 o'clock. So probably don't want to be late because I think they pack up pretty quick. So when 11 rolls up, they're so get there early if you have stuff. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
And I wasn't going to say anything, but I'll just add to that. The next one after that is in District 2. And there is one paper shredding event during the year, and it's usually, I think, here at the community center, right, when we do it. But it's not the first 2 times, but there will be a paper shredding opportunity during the year. So check the website and check out all those schedules. That's all I have. Thanks.
Couple things. So in 3 more weeks, it's gonna be the Lunar New Year, and in our city, we're gonna have couple activity in terms of the Flower Street and downtown Garden Grove, and also the countdown at the Garden Am. But beside that, I also the Vietnamese Student Association will have a big festival at OC Fair, and I will be part of the team that's going to have couple contests for students. So if any student would be interested and would like to come in the door for free, please contact me or contact your Vietnamese school. The school should have the information. That first, second, I attend the memorial service for Mary Sell, the Thomas House founder, and it was just she is someone that I would, when I said that when I grow up, I want to be like her in a way that I want to be able to, for them, not just giving a shelter for the less fortunate, but also give them the resources and make them independent. So that is something that I always admire, and I would love that one of these days I would be able to do something like that. That would be my dream. And then I shout out to the VA USA, the Vietnamese Associate Uniform Service Group. They actually make almost 100 care package for military service. And I went with them to our Garden Grove post office, and we was there. Actually, we hold the line, but it was just amazing thing that they do for the military service, so that they have a little thing that they could, like a sum of Vietnamese or the Tet goodies, so that they could enjoy. And then last but not least, I will attend the library meeting in represent for our city. Last month they did talk about a couple of the grants related to Latinx family heritage, and also the stay and play grant. Anytime I attend, I always try to look for, is there anything that we could bring to our city, or just be there and make sure that we bring it back to our city. And happy birthday to my friend right here, council member. Yeah.
Councilmember Joe.
Thank you. On that note, I did get my edibles arrangement and enjoyed it very much, so thank you. I don't think it's that kind of edible, but it was enjoyable. But I would like to congratulate George on his retirement. 38 years with the force. Now he's going to have more time to serve our city. So I'm looking forward to that, George. So thank you, everyone, for your well wishes. I'm still recovering from my eye surgery, and I'm going in for the second eye, just cataract, nothing too serious, and hopefully I'll recover soon. I did call up staff to call their attention to a couple of locations, especially the Marie Calendar was kind of had the same transient problem, but they've fenced it in and some cleanup has been done, but they still have some fencing that's open, and that goes for any locations that city staff has been alerted to. Please help us with a better fencing so that the perimeters are secure, and any cleanup should be the property owner's responsibility. And if we have to clean it up, send them a bill or fence it in. And I said that very clearly. So thank you for staff for looking into that. Appreciate that. The major vote tonight, and I spoke a lot, probably more than I should. Right, Omar? Omar's going to spank me in closed session. But the reason why is because it's a very important matter, and I would like staff to cue us in. I myself need to learn about what it is we're going to be voting up or down. So anything you can help us do our due diligence and get those information to us expeditiously, not necessarily shorten the moratorium time, but at least we're going to spend that time wisely and do our homework so that we can give our residents the best prospects going in with our eyes open. And so that's why I spoke a lot to it, because I think it's extremely important. We're on the border of several cities there, and across the street literally is the Rodeo 39, and look at it, it's beautiful, right? I'm envious. I wish that was in our city, and I want to see that corner of Beach and Garden Grove be more like that. More like that. So, and I see that's the potential. So that's why I need a weigh in on that, and I want to get better informed and do what we can with the moratorium time to get educated on the subject better. I'm not comfortable with just giving approval at this point. So thank you, staff, for that. Lastly, it is that Lunar New Year. Happy Chinese New Year of the Dragon. It's all politically correct, whether you call it Tet or Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year. We all share in the commonality of the New Year celebration. And I look forward to riding on that truck, the fire truck again. That's the parade on Westminster, and hopefully we can get all dressed up and bring our families on board. My wife Dina might be riding with the water board or the Unified School District school buses, But I like the fire truck myself, so hopefully see everybody there at that parade, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Stephanie.
Thank you. Just several years ago, my grandmother passed away, and today would have been her 100th birthday. And she was born right here in Garden Grove. And it really got me thinking, kind of retrospectively, just about how many people that I've known and loved have passed in the last few years. I think that can be said for a lot of us. We've had a lot of stakeholders and a lot of people that were so intrinsically tied to this city pass away. And one of such people was our dear Rick Lerma. Thursday will be the anniversary of his passing, 1 year since he passed. And a way to honor him as a business owner and stakeholder in the community, such a consummate volunteer and just a cheerleader for Garden Grove in every sense of the imagination. His friends and family are hosting the second annual blood drive in his honor. It'll be here at the Community Meeting Center on Tuesday, February 13th from 11:30 to 6. I know the flyer has been distributed around Main Street and to other organizations in the community. I believe it's on our city website and on our city calendar. I know it's on the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association Facebook page as well as others. So if you feel it in your heart to donate blood in his honor, it's obviously a wonderful cause. Please come to the Community Meeting Center on Tuesday, February 13th, 11:30 to 6 p.m., anytime between there. And you can register at redcrossblood.org, and under the sponsor code, just please put Rick Lerma. Thank you.
Couple things. First, I want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year, healthy and happy, prosperous New Year. Second, John, I may need to borrow your truck. I have a small dishwasher I need to get rid of this weekend, so I might be calling you. Happy belated birthday to my colleague, Councilman Joe Dovin. I want to thank the city clerk's office so very much for their sweet gift for Penny. I can't wait till she's big enough to wear it, and we'll stop by for pictures. She's a little teeny tiny right now, so it might be a while. And lastly, I forgot my last one. What was my last one? I can't remember, so we'll stop there. Thank you.
City Manager Lisa Kim.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. A couple of just event highlights. Tomorrow evening is the Garden Grove Chamber's joint mixer. They have over 9 chamber and other business affiliates that will be participating. The location will be at the Garden Grove Elks Lodge at 11551 Trask Avenue, and the event will be from 5:30 to 7:30. And I just want to acknowledge CEO Claudette Baltimore. She's been certainly very active in promoting our Garden Grove businesses and bringing just a collaboration of all the regional chambers together. So I just want to make sure that the word gets out that we support our local businesses and for their success. And because we love Pioneer Park, our Garden Grove Police Department has already scheduled an outreach with our neighbors in and around Pioneer Park. So Thursday evening, January 25th, they are having just a community engagement meeting from 6 to 7 at Pioneer Park. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
General Counsel, anything to report out or need for closed session?
Yeah, we do have 2 closed session items that we need to adjourn to, and as soon as we're ready.
Thanks. One last thing, we will adjourn to closed session. We'll formally close the meeting thereafter, but we'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Pam McNeil. I'd like to offer my sincere condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Pam McNeil. Pam was born in Long Beach but moved to Garden Grove with her husband in 1970 and remained in Garden Grove until 1995, raising her daughters, Heather and Holly. As a dedicated volunteer, Pam served as a longtime board member of the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce and was chair of the Women's Division Committee. She also gave blood donations when she had time, raised funds for breast cancer research, and was active with her church in outreach support programs. She was known for her warm smile, vibrant personality, and dedication to helping senior citizens. To quote Claudette Baltimore, CEO of the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce, Pam radiated motherly love in all the best possible ways, which was why everyone called her Mama Pam. To honor Pam's memory and her passion for helping others, especially senior citizens, the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce Women's Division Committee established the Pam McNeil Legacy Scholarship to be awarded to a Garden Grove Unified School graduate for choosing a career in social services or senior care. And with that, we will stand adjourned and we'll head over to closed session.